Hey everyone, it's time to Nefis and chill. In this video, I'll be going over my updated list of add-ons that I use frequently whenever I'm raiding, PvPing, or just playing the game. Because I get a lot of questions when I'm streaming. Oh, what add-on is that? Oh, what's the name of the add-on that you're using? What's the name of the add-on that you're, using right now in the house or whatever? And I'm just gonna make this video just to cover the basic list of add-ons I use. I'll also put the list of add-ons down in the video description as well for your browsing, um, and also I'll go over what each add-on does. I'll also go over like specific setups of some of these add-ons because they do require some tweaking and adjusting, um, briefly, so you understand what to do with the add-ons. I won't go into super depth details with like things like strand dart because that's kind of a video in itself. But yeah, let's go over it. So first, the list of add-ons, advanced game settings. Basically, advanced game settings is going to be add-on by Code, wonderful guy, wonderful add-on dev. And this actually lets you set a maximum frame rate limit. It's pretty useful. I just would not recommend, you know, uncapping it or making it like really high, because what it does, depending on your setup, but also for most specs probably, whenever you log into ESO or like whenever you're in the logging screen for ESO, for whatever reason, the FPS, if it's uncapped on that login screen, just completely obliterates like your game and your like CPU. I don't know why, but that's just the way it is. And you can also make it so that you can skip the startup logo where the ZeniMax Media logo and the Bethesda logo pops up before the login screen. And of course, as code says here, you can do all this yourself without the add-on in the user settings text file if you're on PC. But this add-on just kind of streamlines it for you, makes it easier so you don't have to hunt for specific lines of code. Anyway, you also can set languages, and you can also disable detailed texture maps. So if you guys remember, a long time ago made a video about if you're on PC how to change the appearance of films AoEs. But yeah, this add-on also does that for you, and it's really nice. Arkadius's trade tools. This is something I use in conjunction with Tamriel Trade Center, which is another add-on and also a website that tracks prices, at least on PC. ATT or Arkadius Trade Tools is something I replaced Master Merchant with. Master Merchant is still functional, but I don't think it's as up to date or really as small as ATT is in terms of like size and stuff like that. Auto category, this is something I use to kind of like organize the appearance of my inventory, as you'll see here. So you can see that some of the UI is a bit different. Let's keep going down the list. I mean, this is kind of fun, isn't it? Auto recharge. This is something I would only use if you're gonna be grinding hardcore in like Black Rose Prison, and this is exactly what I used for grinding Black Rose Prison to 3600 CP, so that instead of manually opening my inventory and seeing if I have repair kits and then right-clicking each one to repair it, the add-on does it for me at a certain threshold. You can set specific thresholds. You can also have it charge your weapons for you if you want. But yeah, awesome guild store. This is a really great one. This is a must-have add-on for your guild store UI. I mean, it just the filters and everything it gives you is incredibly useful. You can filter out how many vouchers each voucher will have. You can for which voucher it has. You can filter out the quality. You can filter out names. It auto fills names for you and stuff like that from the base game UI, but also gives you price range filters, and it's just really good. There's no reason to not have this at all if you're on PC. Buff the group. It's a really nice compact add-on for combat tracking the buffs or minor buffs you can get from your group. There's also powerful assault tracker, basically comes from here. Empower, rating, and regeneration. Even the empower, that's probably not useful for PvE as of update 36 and 5. It tracks a lot of stuff for you, and it's really nice to have, especially as a support player, or even like a master architect or war machine support. Yes, bug catcher is really handy. It doesn't, delete all bugs or whatever. It just catches those really annoying UI errors for you, and you can just have it on, and it'll passively kind of put those UI pop-ups away. Obviously, you should still check what's conflicting in your add-ons list. Character knowledge is pretty interesting. It's a recent one I picked up, and this kind of actually lets me know which motifs and items that are missing, basically. And this is also a fantastic add-on by Code, and it makes it so that in conjunction with, I believe, another add-on, I believe Loot Log, which we'll go over, tells you like what item sets you need or is not in the sticker book and so forth. Combat metrics, an oldie but a goodie, by another cool person, Soliner. I'm sure you guys have seen combat metric screenshots all over YouTube or wherever. I mean, those of you who don't know, it just looks like this, right? This was what we used after FTC a long time ago, and before ESO logs was much more prevalent. It's still a very solid add-on to use to show setups and to also show the number of your parses and also the weaving average. Really good add-on to have if you're going to be DPSing quite a bit. CraftStore, it's a really nice add-on here as well. CraftStore is basically this window here. Shows you the research you've done on each character if you want. Shows you, tracks progress as well in terms of motifs. For example, I have all these motifs tracked and learned. If they're not red, I know them. And of course, I can have filters like hide the known ones so I can see what I need. You can also look at the individual kind of like weights as well. You can also hide the Crown Store ones if you aren't going to go over the Crown Store motifs. Other than that, it also shows you a enchanting window where you can actually mass decon things with one click, whether it's crafted or uncrafted or dropped glyphs. You also do have a list or a window for provisioning recipes. It's really nice to see which ones you're still missing and so forth. And of course, you also have in the craft store, the craftable sets and what they do and where you can find them. It's really nice. I've used this add-on for years. I really should make an add-on of the week video for this one because it's such a handy add-on, and I love the add-on dev whoever made this for it. But yeah, let's move on. Oh my god, yeah, we got quite the list, right? I'll just go over the active ones real quick. DarkUI, this is, a lot of people ask me because, as you can see, the subtle, kind of like faded UI here, a lot of people really like that, and I get a lot of questions about DarkUI. So you can just have it on and turn it on. You don't really have to do much with it unless you want to customize more with it. You can give yourself glossy attribute bars and stuff like that, or darker attribute bars. A lot of people like using the darker one. Elms Markers is also a relatively new one by my good old friend BitRock. He basically made this to have players be able to show where positionings in terms of numbers or icons or whatever, right? Of course, you can't use this remotely in terms of like, okay, you look at location and you put the marker there. You have to actually be with the character on that location to mark it with an icon or something like that. So yeah, I'll also make a different video covering this. We also have Essential Housing Tools, EHT. It's a massive add-on. I mean, you can see here on my right, on the right of the screen. I usually only have it on when I'm like doing housing tours or like when I need to decorate stuff. It is, I cannot understate this enough, or overstate this enough. Like, it's such a big add-on. It'll probably take some time getting used to it and like figuring out what you can do with it. It just makes housing super simple but also complicated at the same time. You can do a lot of things with EHT. You can also use the EHT window to kind of like see who's even streaming that uses the add-on on Twitch. You can also see like deconstruct or construct entire builds or cobbles, provided you have that. It's really useful. And you can see that it's very advanced in terms of the UI. Fun fact, the person who made this add-on, Cardinal, I believe they work at ZOS now, and I think they still maintain this. It's pretty fucking cool. As you can see, you can even jump to people's houses, provided that you know what house they own and if the house have perms for visitation and also their at name. It's really cool. So settings, add-ons. ExoYs proc set timer. This is a pretty good one too, and that's what you see here with the little line breaker window and the proc set windows here. The numbers appear and start going to cooldown. I prefer this over Surrender usually because it's not as heavy or not as needlessly as complicated to me. Fantasy action bar is what you see by Andy S, another good friend of mine, and as you can see on the bars below my character, that is a fantasy action bar. It shows both your bars at the same time instead of just showing one bar at the time. And the one that's colored in is the active one, and the ones that not faded, that is the inactive one. Hodor Reflexes, again, like this is like a really good add-on, and it just tracks a lot of things like Warhorn Colossus. Also tracks people's DPS. This is probably the add-on that gets probably the second most questions on my streams, like, oh my god, how are you seeing everyone's numbers, and how are you tracking Warhorns and stuff like that. That's pretty cool. And we got Hodor Reflex icon, style, vote. This is all kind of like support or supplementary things to support Hodor Reflexes. We also do have Inventory Insight. This is a really good one too. This is what it does. It brings up all the things you own or have in your storage containers, your banker, your any character. I mean, let's say I'm looking for a specific piece of gear. I don't know, let's say I'm looking for my old Ring of the Advancing Yokita. Where's it at? It will show me and tell me where it is at. Okay, it's in my two of these are in my bank. It's really nice. I mean, it's really convenient if you're trying to locate something you've forgotten about or you've misplaced on a different character. Saves you a whole lot of trouble. Fun fact, it also gives you a currency list to show you how much gold you have across your account, and Telvar and AP, and of course Writ vouchers. Really nice add-on. Highly recommended if you're watching. If you're still watching at this point. Kill counter. This is a PvP thing. It's kind of like a vanity thing to kind of keep track of your KD ratio or like how many times you've died or whatever. Lazy Writ Crafter. This is probably the biggest add-on in terms of the influence it's had on the economies of PC Europe and PC North America. Makes it so that you auto craft daily writs. You just need the materials and stuff like that for each station. Makes it really easy to turn in. I think it even has an option to make it so that you don't loot or like steal stuff next to like vendors, if I recall correctly. But yeah, it also like gives you options to like say, okay, do you want me to use just the base game mats, or do you want me to use any materials? And yeah, here you go. And this library, loot log. Loot log is something I mentioned earlier. It works in conjunction with character knowledge. Just tells you like, okay, in chat whenever someone picks it up, or you can see what other people get as well once they pick it up if you want. And you can like see what you need or for your sticker book and so forth. This is kind of a controversial one because like a lot of people apparently don't like people looking at what they get. I don't think the problem is looking at what people get. I think the problem is people asking or whispering them immediately right after they get it, right? LUI Extended, I will go over this one because LUI Extended is what you see here, right? My character's name, the CP, the health, Magicka, and the green stamina bars here, right? That's LUI Extended. It also gives you, if you want the buff or debuff tracker above or below it. It also customizes the boss health bar as well. These are my settings for LUI. I turned off combat info module, combat text module, chat announcements module, /commands module, info panel module, and all these buffs and debuffs. I don't really have most of it really on. For unit frames, this is where you can like unlock your custom frames, move it around if you want. You can move your group frame, raid frame, your companion frame, your pets, and that's really it. It's not too hard of an add-on for UI to set up. I mean, I've tried bandits and like previously FTC and a couple other things, and honestly, I feel like this is just probably the most simple for me, but it's preference. OD support icons is what a lot of people also ask about. How do you have that healer role icon above your teammate or groupmate's head, character's head? And this is it. You can also, These are my settings for it. By default, it's a bit annoying because you have to turn off a lot of things unless, unless you want to see someone's random Hodor Reflexes icon over their head. But yeah, these are my settings. You can just kind of look back at it. If you want, you can turn off your icons for your assistants as well if you want. You also do have custom icons. I turn this off. It's just annoying. And we have other things, unique icons, Hodor Reflexes icons. I turned all that off. I turned pretty much most of the things in here off. That's just because it can get a little annoying. And that's pretty much it. Pythia Achievement Tracker. This is a good one as well. We also do have, I believe, pledge tracker built into Pythias, and this is basically going to be that screenshot a lot of players. Oh, I don't know. I think I have to do this. A lot of PC players use this to PAT to keep track of their achievements, and this is where you probably see in the ESOU Discord, if you're in the post clears channel, what people post with the watermark names on it. It's pretty cool. I mean, it shows you all the clears, all the hard moves you've done, the trifectas and so forth. It's really, really nice. Okay, and moving on, we also do have Postmaster. I featured this in a very recent add-on of the week episode number 27. It makes taking mail really, really easy, automatic. Q-Cell's Dreadsail Reef Helper, that's really useful for, Dreadsail Reef trial. Rock Reef Helper, same thing. Raid Notifier is a old add-on that is still useful at times. I really do like it for the older trials, especially things like Maw of Lorcaj and the Craglorns. Since the inception of Raid Notifier, though, as you can see with Q-Cell's Helper add-ons and other people's add-ons, people have branched out on their own little trial-specific add-ons that people use often. And RGB AoE, well, that's why I'm in this house. I can show you guys. Oh, I guess I can't use the house, but it's basically the strobe light AoE effect. It can cycle through the different custom colors of AoEs. I have it to where I have it on Psycho mode, the fastest mode, Turbo mode on as well. And this is by Wheels, a really great person, friend. You can just basically have it be rainbow AoEs and stuff like that. It's really, really cool. It doesn't put a strain, doesn't put you at risk of spamming the server. It's really nice. Samurai is also an add-on by Wheels, and also Mormo. This is actually a expansion on Raid Notifier to an extent in terms of notifications for trials. Of course, gives you a boss timer for when bosses are spawning in or are about to start the fight. So that's where you'll see when I do Cloud Rest, there's a timer in the middle of my screen saying, oh, 10 seconds until Zumaja is actually going to engage. Tamriel Train Center, I actually did mention this when we're talking about ATT or Arkadius Trade Tools. You don't have to really do anything with Tamriel Trade Center for the most part. You just kind of use it for as not a price check, but as a listing check, because the difference between ATT and TTC is ATT tracks sales, TTC just simply tracks what's listed for how much, and that's it. So it's good to use a combination of both. Title Flex, this is a vanity one as well. As you can see, automatically switches your titles for you while you're walking around or whatever. It's just something to have. Add-ons, let's go back to this list. On Taunton, it's a must for, in my opinion, for all tanks. That's just to kind of keep an eye on your taunt timers on anything you're taunting. Wizard's Wardrobe is a big one. Wizard's Wardrobe is a kind of the alpha gear that's improved in terms of auto equipping or auto swapping gear sets without you really needing to. Also up CP as well. So things like this, you can just either click manually or you can just auto assign. You can also do skills setups as well, and it's really nice. You can also do food for specific fights so that you don't have to think twice about it. Yeah, and I think the other ones are Alpha Gear and also Dressing Room. Personally, I've had a lot of issues with Dressing Room over the years, so that's why I went with Alpha Gear, and now it's Wizard's Wardrobe. Let's go with settings, add-ons back again. Writworthy is a really nice one. Writworthy is basically if you need to mass craft master Writ stuff, you just pull this up, and as long as you have it in your inventory, it tracks which ones you want to craft. All you have to do, let's say a lot of these are enchanting or whatever, I just enqueue all, go up to an enchanting station, and I just automatically craft it right there without me need to do anything. But yeah, that's it for the active add-ons I have right now. Obviously, there's a lot more add-ons I have not talked about here. I'm gonna just go over the AIM Synergy Tracker, nice for Alkosh tracking and stuff like that. AjusPenetrationDisplay, it's an old one, and I don't use it anymore. I should probably delete that because now penetrations as a stat is seen or available to be seen in the base game UI. Honestly, I think that they did that last year or something like that. About time. APMeter is something that keeps track of your AP gains per hour and AP, how much AP you need until the next Alliance War rank. The AncestralMotifsFilter is a really good one. It's a recent one. It just filters out ancestral motifs for your master Writ purchases. Really nice to have. I think it's going to filter out other stuff as well. Assist rapid writing. This is a add-on I don't really advise using too much, but if you're lazy and you don't mind risking having rapids maneuver stuck on your bar for a bit or something like that, you can use it. It's mainly for PvP, where you can just automatically have rapids swap to one of your skill slots when you're out of combat, and then you can just ride, and then and after you get off your mount, it swaps back. But of course, you can be ganked or put into combat at any time, so it's a risk. Asylum Sanctorium status panel by code, really useful to have it for VS hard mode. Asylum Tracker is sort of like the dummy version of it. You can have both up at the same time. I prefer both up at the same time, but I mainly use Asylum Sanctorium status panel with my eyeballs. Bare Necessities, I believe this is like the I don't think it's on Minion, but it's like a Necromancer version of High Group, which I didn't talk about here. Bound Armaments counter, really nice to have if you're a Sorc. BR Helper, Black Rose by NDS again, and it's just for, just tracking timers and stuff in Black Rose Prison. We also have Combat Metronome. It's nice to do if you're a beginner and you're trying to track your weaving and stuff like that on the dummy. Cooldowns is also another kind of like proc set or proc kind of like timer tracker. It's nice to have. The DDS Viewer is kind of a back-end thing where if you want to look for images within the game files in the game. DollyCam is really nice. DollyCam is where you can zoom in and out in first person, and that's how this is what I use for like casting duel tournaments. Do You Even Debuff? That's an okay one. Dungeon time for like keeping tracks of debuffs. Dungeon timer for code, it just simply tracks the moment you start a dungeon until the completion of the dungeon. We actually use this to practice for the QuakeCon 2021 tournament, or competition rather, against EU. Fury, this is a specific item set tracker for the Fury set that keeps track of your tracks for Fury. GodSend is a really good add-on by Kalia. It allows you to mass mill entire guilds, especially if you're a GM or an officer and you do remind people, hey, you need to sell on the Sub-Eternal Guild Trader once every 30 days. Yeah, you can give that up. Greyskull, this is also this add-on is for tracking how much weapon or spell damage you have live. So let's say you have a set that procs and increases your weapon or spell damage by 500, and you don't want to track it with other add-ons. You can just look at how much weapon and spell damage you have, then that's when you cast your ultimate or your turnaround counter-attack on somebody in a duel or something, or in PvP. GrimFocusCounter is the Nightblade version of Bound Armaments counter. It came first. Tracks how many light attacks you have for your next stack of your Nightblade stacks, and also Immersive Proc. Guild Bank Ledger and Guild Gold Deposits. These are like additional Guildmaster or trade officer tools. I don't really use it too often anymore. Harvest Map is a really heavy add-on. It just shows you literally almost every like node on like planet Tamriel. Can be useful if you want to see potential farming routes. Hello World is kind of like a beginner's tutorial add-on for potential add-on developers. I've been kind of using it because I want to try making an add-on. High Group is a really good add-on. A lot of people ask me about this as well. Like, why are your teammates invisible? And I say I'm just using this add-on to hide them. The way it works is really interesting. Like Pakruti, you know how the Crown Store works, right? When you open this up and you go to the Crown Crates, where's the Crown Crates? Oh my god, I don't even know what the Crown Crates are. Pakruti appears, and you can see that a lot of things here are hidden once you open up Pakruti. So the add-on actually forces Pakruti to appear, forcing you to not see other people on your screen, or even their pets. One thing that High Group does not do that Bare Necessities does is it can't be used by necromancers because you can't tether from your necromancer pets and stuff like that. So yeah, there you go. Hodor Reflexes, we talked about that. Housing Hub, this is also a nice one. How does Sunspire, another trial-specific add-on. Immersive horse riding, I featured this in a recent add-on of the week episode, where you could ride around in first person. Light Attack Helper, this is also a nice kind of combat metronome-like add-on to help you keep track of your light attack weaving average on a dummy or something like that. You can use it in a raid as well, but I wouldn't. I personally would. It's a bit distracting. Lilith's Group Manager, and I will actually be making my next add-on of the week episode about this. It's a really handy tool. You just open up your party tab, and then you'll see LGM at this very bottom, and you'll have 3 different categories. And you can have auto invite on. So let's say someone whispers me an X, and I have this on. I just automatically invite them to the group without doing anything else. We can also set a max group size limit, although we can't do 24 anymore because the game is now it's 12. We also do have like a history of like who was in my group. We also do have this death recap thing where you can see who died to what. This is also used in conjunction with common metrics before the advent of ESO logs. It's still useful if you don't want to look at your live logs or ESO logs after the raid to see what exactly people died to. You just hover over their names when it appears here and see what they died to. See what their death recap is said, and it's much more accurate than the base game UI death recap for whatever reason. Anyway, yeah, wow, this is a lot. Loot log, LUX, and then map pins. Map pins is also a good one. You can just go to a map and you can go to the filters tab. As you can see, you can filter out or filter in specific things like sky shards, lore books, unknown POIs you don't have. So it basically, like, for example, I haven't really done Gallon, the update 36 or quarter 4 DLC zone yet. As you can see, it shows me what I haven't discovered already. That's pretty nifty. Also shows you treasure chest locations or treasure chest location spawns. And everything else, I feel like Master Constructors, it's all kind of self-explanatory. MK Tracker for martial knowledge. There's my little add-on I've been working on. Olorime, just to keep track of the cooldown. Olorime overload timer for if you have trouble with Reliquin's bar swap mechanic. Papa Crown, I love Papa Crown. It just like makes the crown on somebody bigger. Really useful for PvP ball grouping or just, you know, even PvE as well. Perfect Pixel is an interesting one. Basically, kinda adjust the size and the dimensions of your UI. It gets some time getting used to. That's kind of preference in itself. Potion Maker for alchemy, you know, crafting if you don't know the ingredients or region effects. Powerful Assault is also a standalone add-on specifically to keep track of Powerful Assault's duration. We also do have Powerful Assault Tracker by Arkadius. It's up to you if you want to use buff to group. Powerful Assault Tracker, there's a lot for everything. Ray buffs was nice a long time ago. I don't think you really need too much now, but you'll probably see it in my much older videos when I'm raiding. Just keeps track of the debuffs on each boss, like is Alkash up, is Crusher up. So it can be pretty useful for a support role, in particular the tank. We also do have RDK Group Tool. This is a really heavy add-on, and this is specifically for PvP ball grouping. I would have to. I think I made an add-on of the week for this one. I think, but it's a huge. It's like Strand Arts. Like it's bigger than Strand Arts. Huge. Roaring Opportunist. That's also an add-on tracking Roaring Opportunist countdown or cooldown. Strendar. Yeah, that's a big one. That's a popular one. It's because it's very customizable, but it takes a bit of time to customize stuff and like figure out what's going on with Srendar, especially if you're newer to add-ons. But I usually use it if I want to track one very specific thing that I cannot track with any other add-on. Sororia, Synergy, and of course these are like self-explanatory. Synergy, however, gives you the option to block certain synergies in the game, so that's up to you if you want to use it. Samurai, we talked about that earlier. Spotter Tracker, self-explanatory. Stagger Tracker, that's for Stone Giant uptimes on DK. Target Dummy Tools, I believe, is to automatically reset the dummy after you're done with it. Unboxer, this is also a good one for mass opening containers, like rewards for the worthy containers and stuff like that. Votan's Fish Fillet kind of just puts your character on autopilot for filleting fish. Votan's Minimap, if you want a minimap. Waiting Kilt, that's just for tracking harpooners' waiting kilt stacks. Wealth Evaluator, I don't know how accurate this really is, but it just kind of sums up the gold value of your entire craft bag and your entire account / character. We also do have yet another compass. It's just a compass compass add-on. So yeah, that was a longer list than I thought, but these are the add-ons I have right now. If you ever see me use a different add-on or something on streams or whatever, and you want to ask me about it, go for it. But I figured I'd make this video because I think the last time I made a video covering what add-ons I use was like in 2017 or something. But yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys soon. Stay safe, have fun, and bye.